Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday evening. Hope everybody's had a wonderful week so far. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Sorry about that little glitch there at the beginning of the show. I was having a little bit of an issue with one of our batteries once again. May have to put in an order for another battery. Don't know if it was the charging port or if it's the cable. But why it shut the whole thing off, I must have bumped the button. Again, happy Wednesday, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are doing all right. Hopefully we got a nice action-packed show here for you guys tonight. I'm going to start the show off with Sun Country here. So as you guys can see as well, we do have this United MAX 9 here parked in the international gate there. That one coming from SFO earlier. They parked it there right before we got on the air here. Not sure what the deal is with that one, but nonetheless, they are on the international gate over here. As we check out the Tide Pod heading up to Terminal 1 side of things. Got an American A321 on the move. This one's either headed to Philadelphia or headed to Charlotte. That flight information there in just a moment. We are having a little bit of a fluctuation in service. So as you guys know, things can happen with service. So just bear with us here. Gonna make a quick adjustment and we'll see what we can do. Whoops. Why it's always Wednesday. Oh yeah, we didn't have this issue last Wednesday. It was nice and cool last Wednesday. Today a little bit warmer than last week. So again, bear with us. Service is fluctuating a little bit due to the warm temperatures. Let me double check our internet device. That thing is really dumb. Why are you showing yellow? There you go. You're at where it needs to be. Anyway, arguing with it. So again, we got this United 737 MAX 9 over here on the international gate, the American side of Terminal 2. As you guys can see, Sun Country, Tide Pod. So the American that just departed, that's American Airlines 1441, that is headed to Philadelphia. Southwest, we kind of saw departing there a moment ago. That's Southwest 2301 headed to Dallas Lowe's Field. Next arrival is going to be a Frontier, followed by another Frontier. This is going to be Frontier 1168. Coming in from Atlanta. As Sun Country makes their way to the general aviation side. Looks like another sports team here being dropped off, possibly. saw this last Wednesday as well. So again, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are watching from. Trying to work out a little bit of a service snafu here. Seems to be all right. Got 5 full bars. One of their towers is probably overheated, so we're going to run into some stutters here for a little bit, unless we decide to switch devices. Switch over to the old cell phone there. C-130, a little later on, right? Nope, I see it. That's what that is on radar. So we got a C-130 on final. Dang, Wednesdays are turned into military days. Last week we had that C-17 on Wednesday. Now today we got the C-130. Hopefully the service will play nice so we don't lose the C-130. May have to make one more. I don't have time to make an adjustment. Don't think. Let's try to make a quick adjustment here so we can hopefully not lose you guys through this thing here. So let's turn the quality down just a little bit here and see if we can get through this till the towers cool down. So there you go. I know it's not going to be the best quality, but I want you guys to be able to see the C-130. Service issues are out of my control. Like he might slow on down and stay a little while. Next arrival is going to be another Frontier Airlines coming in from, not sure yet, coming in from LaGuardia. That's going to be Ted the Sea Turtle. Where is our Marines coming in from? Does it say? It says RDU. Oh, they left here earlier. Went out, did a couple of laps out towards Cherry Point, and are now back. So it looks like they were here a little earlier today. It's definitely Wednesday. Nothing ever wants to work on Wednesday. I don't understand. But anyway. See that C-130 up close here in just a minute. Sorry, Frontier. Gotta go. got no clue about this one. If you guys have any sort of idea who this is, what this is, I'm sure it's sports charter of some sort. Sports team making their way in. Had an American leave a moment ago. You guys probably heard that one depart. American Airlines 2756, 737-800, headed it to Miami. We've got another United Express on the move, E170, E175. Somewhere, there it is. Arizona men's baseball team. Thank you, Chad. Got another American on the move. That C-130 offloading. Another American Eagle about to get a move on. Let's see where United's headed. That is SkyWest Airlines. They're headed to Houston on that E-175 LR. Swing back over here to the C-130. I'll try to turn the quality of the show back up here in just a little bit as soon as it stops fluctuating. It continues to fluctuate and give me some issues, but I think I've found a nice medium point to keep it from stuttering and slowing down for you guys. So that one is Republic Airways 4804 headed to JFK. Again, another E175 LR. Thank you, Greg. 95 likes. Make sure you guys smash the like button. I think I set it for 150 likes, maybe. We're trying to get to 150 tonight. I don't remember if I put it as the pinned message or not. I can't see the pinned message at the moment. I think it just says Happy Hump Day. But as you guys know, we're always trying to make it to 150. Sunday show, we did make it to 208 on Sunday show. A lot of folks stopping in and leaving the like after the show. So we at least made it to 200 for Sunday. So hopefully we'll have that again. Oh, 43. Hold on. Mine still says 16. Over here on the old cell phone. Now it says 50. So there we go. So make sure you guys smash the like button if you haven't. Wait here. I'm trying to get flight radar back up and open. Looks like we got American 1894 getting ready to leave to go to Charlotte. That's going to be that A321. Still have both of our 777s, speaking of which. There we go. Air France on the pushback here. Getting ready to head back to Paris. starting already. Welcome in, everybody. You arrived just in time for the Air France 777 departure back to Paris. Make sure if you guys are just here for the 777 departures, please smash the like button. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a face-off kind of deal here. The American 777's already pushed back and disconnected from the tug, so maybe we'll get double departures. The American 777 is on the move. So will we have back-to-back departures from these two? We also have a FedEx 767 to arrive here shortly. We have American on final, American 1904 from Charlotte. Another A321, where's FedEx? FedEx is number 4 or 5 in line. Coming in from Memphis, arriving in 10 minutes. Got Southwest headed to Baltimore back here. You guys, I'm sure, can hear that one. So these GE should be ready to go here in just a moment. And again, the American 777 is on the move already, coming across the front of Terminal 2. So fingers crossed we get a back-to-back. C-130 sitting over in the general aviation side still hasn't shut down engines. I don't know if they're staying here or if they're going to go back out. So I'm going to keep an eye on that C-130 and see if it has any movement here. All right, Air France about to move. Going to pull out here right in front of American. Maybe. No, they're going to wait because American is moving very, very quickly. We may have to go from both of those over to, looks like we got a military helicopter about to buzz us. American 777 is flying. Like, he's in a big hurry. I don't know if you guys can tell, but he's not cruising. He is in a humongous hurry. So, Jay, the 787 was about a week and a half here at the airport. I believe the 777s were all down for heavy maintenance. We've got Delta 1409 up next for arrival. 737-9 coming in from Salt Lake City, Utah. It's going to be our next arrival. So check out our 777s departing here. So again, good afternoon, everybody. If I didn't say hello. See, Air France taking their time. The American 777, however, was not. Delta from Salt Lake City. I believe we got a CRJ on final. Good look at both of those 777s. Is this a CRJ? What do we have? We got Republic Airways 3625 coming in from Washington Dulles. E175LR. Let's go over and check on this C-130 one more time. Did they shut them down, or are they still running? I think they're still running. They are. So this one left here earlier, went out to Seymour Johnson, and it came right back. If you guys were watching it on Flight Radar. C-130 is moving now. All right, let's forget about the E-175. Head back over to the C-130. Still don't know why we're having such an issue with service. There's no reason for it. The American 777 is on the move too. So enjoy this 777 departure here. They're gonna do it for us. They're gonna go back to back here. Air France better hurry up. They got an American from Dallas bearing down on them. Still about, I'd say 4 miles out, 3 miles out. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is today. I can't get service to stabilize for whatever reason. So everything looks fine, but mine keeps going in and out. So I do apologize, you guys. It happens. There's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. It's beyond my control. I can't fix it. Now we move on to the C-130 here. So American 1888 about to touching down now. That one coming in from Dallas as we turn our attention back to the C-130. Not sure who's gonna, if it'll go before FedEx, but FedEx is our next arrival. FedEx is number 1 on final. So a lot of action here to start the first 30 minutes of the show. So again, good afternoon and good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. It's not been too bad for me. I see what part of the problem is. Here, it looks like the ring road is full around the parking garage. Miss Carolina gifting out 5 Carolina Aviation memberships. Thank you, Miss Carolina. Greatly appreciate that, as always. Congratulations to the 5 of you who were gifted a membership from the wonderful Miss Carolina. All right, so our C-130 is going to go first. Need you to get a move on. FedEx is going to touch down here in a second. Going to take his time. We're going to miss that touchdown of FedEx, I think. It's not every day we see a C-130. We see FedEx once a week. Nope, we're going to catch him. I'm going to make sure of it. FedEx from Memphis. With a smoky touchdown at 767. Batman, good afternoon. Again, happy Wednesday, everybody. We are having some issues, so bear with us. We're having service issues. There's nothing I can do about it. Make sure you guys smash the like button anyway, even though the service is kind of crap. So there's that FedEx 767. What you guys are hearing just below us is an E-175 from American Eagle. Getting a move on. Speaking of United, if you guys are wondering about this United over here on the international gate, the 737 MAX 9 arrived just before we started the show. This came from SFO. Why it's over here, I have no idea. So if you guys missed it, we just had a C-130 departure. We had the American and Air France back-to-back departures from those two 777s, and our FedEx 767 arrival. So our next arrival is going to be Republic Airways 4497 coming in from LaGuardia. It's going to be another E-175. Hopefully we can get this service issue resolved. Maybe if it'll cool down a little bit. It's about 85 degrees here this afternoon. So anytime the temperatures are above 80 on Wednesday, we typically have service issues. I don't understand it. Something to do with Verizon's towers, I think. Last Wednesday, we didn't have any issues whatsoever. Nice smooth touchdown for this one. FedEx making it to their gate. Got a couple of CRJs hanging out over here. One nose down the hill here, one coming down the hill. We should have Iceland here in just a little bit. Next arrival is going to be an American from Chicago. Where are you, Iceland? Pair of CRJs. Here's Iceland coming in from Reykjavik. About 48 minutes. It's going to be another MAX 9. Even liftoff for this E-175. Still that CRJ sitting there on the hill. Back to things. Both the 777s taking two very different routes tonight. And that E-175 that just departed, that's Republic Airways 4742 headed to Pittsburgh. Back to the old Pennsylvania. American Airlines 533 is going to be our next arrival coming in from Chicago. 1 hour and 29 minutes of flight time for the 737. That one going to touch down any moment. Have a Delta here too from Atlanta, Delta 1097. It's gonna be another 737. I really wish they would bring our 757s back, but there's nothing we could do about that, I guess. We haven't seen our 75s in quite a while, to be honest. There we go, the CRJ finally getting to move on. I assume they're waiting for a gate. I saw one earlier that was waiting for a gate. And you got United in all kinds of weird places today. Got another one over on the other side in the alley in a different spot. Not in a spot we normally see them. Here is American from Chicago, from Matt Mann's neck of the woods. Still got the clamshell open, and I finally closed it. The reversal brakes. There's one United on the way out. I thought there were two out there, but I think, or not United, Delta, I think the one that I was seeing was that one that just departed, that CRJ. Speaking of Delta and CRJs, we got another one coming in. That one there, that's Endeavor 5222, headed to Newark, New Jersey. Again, that's a CRJ 900LR. So again, I apologize about the service here. Once again, looks like it's still giving us trouble here. So hopefully that will calm down a bit. Ooh. Another little exec jet here. This one's a unique color. It's not white, it's off-white. It's more like a cream color. Definitely small compared to that one right there, no? Had this unique helicopter come in at some point today. I missed it. They were walking away from this one when I got here this afternoon. That CRJ coming in from LaGuardia. A couple of Deltas again sitting out there. This Delta here, this is Delta 1407 headed back to Detroit. Man, we are having some serious service issues tonight. Don't understand what's going on. I may have to switch up devices here and see what happens. The one on arrival is Delta 1097 coming in from Atlanta. Let's make a quick change here and see if we can't get this to cut this out, because I'm getting annoyed. That Delta is headed to Detroit. Give me 1 second here, see if we can't figure this out. So there will be an intentional pause here for just a moment while we try to get this to work again. Again, we're going to switch Wi-Fi networks because this one here is bouncing. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Looks like we got Delta 2600. That's going to be our next departure here. This one's going to be that weird A320 headed back to Atlanta. So it looks like we were having an issue with our actual Wi-Fi hotspot, which doesn't surprise me. Although it did get very, very, very hot sitting there. So that does affect that stupid thing quite a bit. So now we're on the cell phone. Hopefully that'll knock all that off. Hopefully we won't have any more issues. Delta, that A320 to Atlanta. It's going to be our next departure. Seemed like the perfect time there to fix that issue. So again, this is going to Atlanta. Looks like our next arrival is going to be American Airlines 1426 coming in from Miami. Now 737. Then we've got Delta 2782 coming in from Boston. That's going to be on an A220-100 here in just a few minutes. Dang, did all of our news helicopters leave out and I didn't even notice? That was United States Army. Oh, they're both from the other side. Over there. Yeah, Eric, Molly likes to talk about food. Especially because most of our shows, especially on the weekdays, when we do shows, it is around dinner time. So everybody's hunting for dinner time ideas, I assume. Molly likes to ask what everybody's having for dinner. Yeah, I haven't seen any Breeze Airways yet today. Unlike Sunday, we had a bunch of them on Sunday. So today seems like a little bit less. So again, the next arrival is going to be from Miami. That's arriving in just a few minutes. It says it's arriving in 9 minutes. I'm going to have to get used to using flight radar sideways. I've got the phone laid on its side, or sit up on its side. Definitely network issues here. Not according to the stream, but watching my phone, it just switched down to 4G. So hopefully it won't fluctuate again. Molly says she didn't start this conversation this time. Sure. Alright, we got a United out there at the end, ready for their departure. Looks like they are up on flight radar. That is going to be in A. It is a E175LR though, but currently in A. Hearing over there. Looks like there's a couple over there ready to go. Sun Country's not quite ready. Looks like that big Gulf Stream's on the move. It could be Jeff. Again, I have an indicator here on my software here that tells me when it's going in and out. So it looks like for me it's a network issue. United saying no, I'm not ready yet. Sun Country is a charter. Somebody said it was the Arizona baseball team, the college baseball. So United is doing a little backtrack here. There's that one making all the noise. Pulling out from in front of Sun Country. Sky 5 hanging out over there. Looks like they're doing some yard work as well. And that Gulfstream ready to go. Yeah, they landed here a little while ago. They've already got on their bus and heading over to their hotel. Had a lot of sports charters last week as well. And we have a couple of Beach Kings on the way out. Looks like we got Wheels Up Aviation here with their Beach King 350. Gulfstream gets ready. Truck lurking over there too. Those Wheels Up. Sun Country on the move over there as well. Now finally, they've fueled up. Probably going to head it back to Minneapolis. Pretty quick flight for that C-130 all the way out there in Wilmington already. Dang. All right, again, our next arrival is going to be that American from Miami. American Airlines 1426. Now on final. It's going to be followed by Delta and then another American. So we check out Sun Country in the Tide Pod livery. Man, I love some elephant ears. Thought I would join that conversation. I haven't had a elephant ear in a very, very long time. Actually, probably since I was a kid. So they're waiting on that other Beach King to get a move on. About to turn it over here to American at 1426. The Beach is on at the move. Where'd you go? There he is. Go to American about the touchdown. Got a Southwest. Move over here as well. Adam, good evening. Looks like we got Delta ready to go. Sun Country ready for their departure. Yeah, we got a fire truck on the field. Sun Country here is headed back to Minneapolis, just as I expected. Leaving empty, gonna ferry back to their base. Delta from Boston in that A220-100 about to touch down here 23 right. Southwest heading down the hill here. Got one ready for departure. Frontier, looks like we've got 2 Frontier out there ready to go. How does Southwest headed down the hill? So Delta, that's one from Boston, hold on. Southwest 1788, that one's headed to St. Louis. Next arrival, the one you're looking at there, that's Republic Airways 4596, coming in from Music City, Tennessee. Good old Nashville. Got the United Max 9 pushing back again. That one came in from SFO earlier in the day. Hold on. Tripod is not happy today. RWB, good evening to you. Alright, so Delta about to get a move on. Got a Delta arriving. Delta 2992 on final, coming in from Miami. That's going to be an A319. See that tail? I saw a retro United tail. There you go, United Airlines. I did not know this one was here. This one must have snuck in well before we started the show today. So United in that retro livery. Frontier. Hopefully with an early rotation here. Looks like we're gonna get one. Southwest up next. Oh yeah, that's not a good setting, is it? Sorry guys, I think we've had another tripod die on us here. This will be the third tripod we've had in a year and almost 2 years time. Can't seem to keep tripods, to be honest. I don't even think we've had this one a full season yet. It's already looking like it's done for. Problem is the way they heat up. You know, I take it with me to work. It sits in a 90-degree car all day, 110-degree car. The fluids in it tend to thin out. Southwest, up and out of here. I'm telling you guys, one of these days we're gonna buy like a $4,000 tripod. One of these days. God, I'm tired of dealing with these tripods. Southwest 1697, that's headed to Denver, Colorado. Frontier 4937 headed to Detroit. Was that one before that? WB, thank you for the membership milestone. Speaking of United, so you got the United thing on your profile picture there. Got one I didn't know about. So we've got United retro livery up here in just a few minutes. About to depart. Thank you, RWB, with a $20 super chat. I'll get that up on the screen in just a moment. Thank you so much. That'll get us out of here today. Awesome support. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. So there we go. Today's show's paid for. I'm free. I can get out of the parking garage. All right, Frontier up next. That American Eagle we saw a moment ago, that's headed to Matman. United headed to Newark on that E175. Find out where Frontier's headed here in just a moment. Anxious to see this United retro livery. Don't see too many of those from United. I wish they would do a battleship gray one, but I have a feeling they'll never do a battleship gray one. Frontier with the early rotations tonight. Frontier 4797, that's headed to Atlanta, Georgia. It's an A321 200. All right, our next arrival is going to be Iceland from Reykjavik, ICE 821 on that 737 MAX 9. It's going to be our next arrival. We got an A321 right there headed back to Charlotte. We've already had our A321 to Philadelphia tonight, so that one definitely not headed to Philly. Speaking of United, we got another one out there. This one not the retro livery. This one is that 737 MAX 9. This one again came in from SFO earlier. They're going to try and get out of here before Iceland. This one headed to Chicago. United 1920. No. That's where the United Continental retro livery is headed. This one is not up on flight radar yet. Lots and lots of United hanging out down there toward the end of the runway. Yeah, that's what I want, Jeff. It's a Shatler. The nicest tripods you can buy. Really, really expensive. we've been hovering around the $200, $300, $400, $500 tripod range. We're not a big channel. We can't afford, you know, $1,000, $1,500 tripods. So we stick with what we can afford. I'm just sad that this one didn't make it a full season before it started giving us problems. Again, it lives in the car pretty much, you know, because Wednesday, all day Wednesday, it's got to be in the car for us to be out here to do a show Wednesday evening. So there's no escaping the heat in the summertime. So Ice 821 from Reykjavik on final. This 737 MAX 9 getting out of that United MAX 9 that left a moment ago. That one getting out of the way for this one. Possibly. This one may go to that gate in the middle. Hopefully it'll go on at the corner gate. A little 2-for-1 shot there. Lady D, good evening. Welcome to the show. Reykjavik gonna slow down early and turn out. Yeah, that's definitely the issue I have, Jeff. It dries out, you know, it gets sticky, stuff like that. So that's our biggest issue with our tripods here. Again, we've been through several fairly expensive heads for sure. So one day soon we'll get a nice one. Alright, so we're going to have to leave Iceland as we have the United retro livery on the move. If I can hold a steady enough camera, get your screenshots ready. Hopefully we can get a good screenshot out of that for the day, for the thumbnail for today's show. So what time was that? 7:28. I do, Jeff. I have a tripod bag for this one. This one lives in this one. And then, of course, like I said, they live in the car, so it's hard. I need a different style. Instead of like the full-on fluid head, I need a different type, to be honest. All right, looks like we got American touching down. American Airlines 1645 from Charlotte. We got Southwest departing as we check out the last couple seconds of Iceland to the gate. goes that other American A321. This one about to head to Charlotte. If I had to guess, so Southwest 2667 headed to Chicago Midway. Another MAX 8 for Southwest. And this American is up on flight radar. American Airlines 1479 headed to Charlotte. About a 28-minute flight there. Glad our service issues kind of went away. I'll try and turn the quality back up here in just a minute. This American A321, I'm going to rotate it a little. 10-4, Mattman, will try our best. Keep them headed your way. They're in Chicago. Looks like we got a Delta CRJ ready for departure. Let's try to up the quality here just a little bit once again now that hopefully we're done with our service issues. Doesn't look like it's fluctuating too bad. So if it does pause and glitch here for a minute, bear with me, I'll change it back, but we'll see what happens here. Did it work? Nope. Let's go back down. It's just not going to happen tonight for whatever reason with service. So I apologize, you guys. Nothing we can do. I can't seem to get service to work for us this evening. All right, so for Mattman, this is for you, sir. FedEx ATR coming in from Newbern. The first of two. Touchdown there for FedEx. Yeah, Jeff, I need to. You know, I honestly don't know how Horry's son does it down there in Florida. I know he's got quite a breeze, but man, that heat and that humidity. See, I'm a little on the thick side, and us plumper people don't enjoy the humidity, if you know what I mean. I got days when I'm out here and it's really humid, and I'm just like, oh, shoot me now. Too much humidity for me is just, sometimes it's too much. exec jet on the move. And getting out of here. Looks like we got PSA on final. It's going to be a CRJ 701 coming in from Washington, D.C. via downtown D.C. Ronald Reagan. We'll see that CRJ 701 in just a minute. Let's go over here to our FedEx ATR. Thought I had a little bit more time. Several really warm days like that here too. 87. Had a couple of days where it was 90 right about. Is this our Delta back to Salt Lake City? Yeah, I'm not ready for those super hot days. Not yet. Enjoying this mild spring that we've had, this real spring that we've had this year, I should say. Not necessarily mild, but real. Shelton, we had back-to-back 777 departures earlier this afternoon. We also had a C-130 come in and leave. So it's been an interesting, that was all within the first, 40 minutes of the show. So always exciting at the beginning of the shows here in RDU. Some evenings, some Wednesday evenings, things tend to slow down. Like right now, it looks like we're gonna have a big gap here, unless my phone isn't working. It doesn't look like my phone. There we go. I was gonna say, we don't have anything for how long? I'm waiting on that CRJ. Next closest big one is Southwest, coming in from Houston. That one's gonna be about 15 minutes. It's going to be followed by Air Canada, Delta, and an exec jet. Air Canada bringing an E-175. That C-130 that left an hour ago is out doing holding patterns over the Atlantic Ocean, if you're watching that on Flight Radar. Our other FedEx ATR of the night, Mountain Air Cargo 7508, getting ready to leave Ramona Aviation Town. That one departing Wilmington here in just a few minutes. Yeah, there is lots and lots of plans here for the airport. Super excited about it. Ooh, we're getting our Vancouver one tonight already? Is that tonight? Oh, there it is. Ah, so we got our inaugural Vancouver flight. Thank you so much for that update. Air Canada, actually Air Canada, not Jazz Aviation. Air Canada 1068. That's going to be on a 737 MAX 8. So you guys are going to join us here. As far as I know, this will be the very first Air Canada MAX 8 arrival here at RDU. So that one coming in an hour. Hour and 42 minutes. It's the inaugural flight for the Vancouver flight for Air Canada. We have WestJet coming Monday, June the 9th. That will be their actual inaugural flight. That's arriving around 5 p.m. if I understand correctly. Whether or not we'll be out here for that, I don't know. I get off work at 5 p.m. So we may not see the inaugural arrival, but we might see that departure if I decide to come out here for WestJet. You know, we didn't come out here for Bermuda earlier in the year. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited for WestJet, honestly. Check out PSA here. We had a Frontier heading out. Let's see, is Frontier up on flight radar yet? That Delta departure. That is Delta 1409. That's headed to Salt Lake City. They are always waiting. They never have people out here on the ground ready for PSA or Republic Airways, I swear. So while we got a minute, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please do so. If you're new, subscribe. Gained about 5 new subscribers today. Typically we gain about 10 every episode of the show. So please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As well as leave that like. Batman gifting our 6th Carolina Aviation membership tonight. Thank you so much, Matt, man. Great support. I'm trying to send you some more Maxes your way up there to Chicago. Let's see where Frontier's headed. Frontier 2072. This one is Ted the Sea Turtle livery, headed to Philadelphia. WB gifting one Carolina Aviation membership as well. I actually think we've had more than 7 tonight. Thank you guys so much for the support. You and me both, Matt, man. I love a Max. Don't ask me why, but I do. Really enjoy the Maxes, especially when you can get up close to them. Just the look of those engines, I think. But I've always liked the 737's engine style. The way it looks, no matter if it's been a Max or not. So congratulations to everybody who was gifted a membership tonight. We welcome you into the memberships. I'm really excited for this Max 8 Air Canada a little later on. Definitely going to stay for that one. As long as we don't have any more issues or hiccups, we'll definitely stay for that first Vancouver flight from Air Canada tonight. I honestly just want to know where they're going to go, what gate they're going to use. Another nice early rotation for Frontier. As Ted the Turtle livery gets out of here. And we got a CRJ. Ready for departure. So normally, if you guys are familiar with the show, Wednesday nights we try to stay for the MD-11 departure. So given that we have an hour and a half, fingers crossed that Air Canada from Vancouver will land around the same time as the departure of the MD-11. Will be after dark, of course, especially tonight with the heavy cloud cover we're experiencing here in the Triangle. It's finally starting to cool down a little bit. We go from the Delta to another fire truck. Second one of the night. You're about to see that ambulance that entered the airport a moment ago. So there you go. Little emergency action happening there. So Frontier was off to Philadelphia. This one's Endeavor 5101 headed to LaGuardia. So what are we doing here? Got another E175 just below us starting up. Looks like we've got a 737-8 headed out as well. Another American. I have a feeling that one is headed to Miami. Nope, that one's headed to DFW. That's going to be American 1888 to Dallas Fort Worth. Next arrival, Southwest 1388 from Houston. That one arriving here in 2 minutes. That's a 737-8. So 2 more minutes for Southwest. Also got a United E175 on the way out, along with the American Eagle E175. There's United. Going to be Southwest and a Cessna Citation XL. That one coming in from Columbus, Ohio. It's a private owner. But we got the Southwest up next. Again, this one coming in from Houston. Hours and 21 minutes of flight time for this 800. Nice touchdown for that 737-8. So again, that next arrival is going to be that Cessna Citation XL. Again, from Columbus. That's going to be a 57-minute flight for that one. Our 737 that's ready for departure is up on flight radar. The American Eagle is going to be headed to Washington, D.C. via Ronald Reagan. They're in downtown. Got American in a 737 on the move. Canada should be our next arrival here in just a minute. So it's going to be Air Canada. No. It's going to be Delta 689 coming in from Los Angeles. This is going to be our next major arrival. Don't know what's coming in right now. Looks like something smaller. American there. Again, that's American 1888 headed to Dallas Fort Worth. So we've got United sitting out there at the end of the runway, waiting to leave. They're getting ready to head to, that's Republic Airways 3447, headed to Washington, D.C. Via Ronald Reagan. And the American Eagle is not listed yet. It's out there, but it's not listed. So this one right here is not on flight radar. Maybe this is a diversion. Thank you, Joshua. Joshua's saying that we got Army on final. Thank you, Joshua. I believe that's going to be a diversion right there. That's CRJ. Let's see what we got out here on final. You're using a different app. I can't see it at the moment. Delta 689 though is what I have next. I am watching both sides here. Alright, United back to DC. Came from Birmingham. Alright, so probably a diversion then, because we don't have a Birmingham, Alabama flight. Or is that one they just announced? They announced a CRJ flight today, I believe. Delta from Los Angeles up next. Thank you, Josh, for the updates. So that CRJ from Birmingham was headed to LaGuardia. All right, next arrival is Air Canada Jazz 838 coming in from Toronto. And if you guys are just joining us and don't know, Air Canada from Vancouver's first flight tonight should be landing around 9:15, 9:30. course, we're going to stay for that. We're going to stay for the MD-11 departure at 9:15. As long as that's not delayed. That one there is Republic Airways 4497 headed to LaGuardia. Another E175. So I'll be anxious to see where this one's going to go. Does anybody know if that Vancouver flight's going to go back tonight, or is that overnighting here tonight? Where is that one? It must have been that little one. Is that the Beach King as Army? I don't see anything else. There, Josh. So again, this is not our last Air Canada of the night. I know this one will be here all night. This one leaves around 5 a.m. But we do have that 737 MAX 8 from Air Canada. That'll be the first time I've ever seen the MAX 8 here at RDU for Air Canada. I know we've had a couple of A320s here before, including the okay, so there's that Beach King. We'll go over to that Beach King. That's the one that Josh is talking about being Army. There it is. Looks like a regular Beach King. Plain except for the pinstripe down the side. So if you guys want to go back later on after we end the show, we did have the C-130 earlier today. The 777s departing back to back and very quickly earlier this afternoon. Hey, here we go. Check this out. Sorry, Air Canada. We see you all the time. These we don't get to catch during the day too often. So there we go. So Air Canada is going to C10 or 12, going to C10. C12 is currently occupied by an American Eagle. So that tells me, normally that E175 goes to the corner gate here. So that tells me that Vancouver is going to go to that corner gate tonight when it arrives. We've had a lot of military action here this evening. I like it when these guys do this. They'll come over here every now and then. It's not very often that they'll do it, but they come over here from the armory over there. we go. It's gonna set it down. He might shut it down right there. You could see him squat down there a little bit. So it doesn't look like we have anything else on final quite yet. We have that FedEx ATR coming in from Wilmington out there at Miss Ramona's house. Mountain Air Cargo 7508. This is going to be the ATR 42300. This is going to be the smaller of the two. This one's going to be here in about 1 minute. Looks like UPS, as always, using 332. So we got Martin Air, which is coming in. This one coming in from Manio. This one's a Cessna Super Cargo Master. You might see it cross here in a minute. Those operate for UPS. We don't see too many of them because they do come across 3.2 here. So we'll go back. We'll come back to him. Let's go to the Cargo Masters here. There's about 5 or 6 of these that come in from various locations out on the coast. They haul all that cargo for UPS out there to those very small locations. Looks like we got that Delta A220 300 or 100 headed back to Boston here in just a few minutes. That one's making its way out as we watch this one shut down. So it's finally nice to catch these. I know a lot of you guys are like, hey, can you see them? Can you see them? No, unfortunately, 9 times out of 10 at night we cannot. And they're usually hidden here by the parking garage. We're never over there on the other side of the parking garage to catch these guys. There's a bunch of them that hang out over there. There's our ATR 42 from Wilmington. Coming in from Ramona Town. I like the 72 better. So did they fully shut down our helicopter over here? They did. I wonder if this one is in the correct location. It's not often that they go over here. Sometimes they will stop here and then they'll jump over back across the runway there. There's no telling why this one's here though. Oh, turn the beacons off, so maybe that means they're gonna sit here for a little while. They may leave it here for a few minutes. It's not normal that they do this, of course. So that explains, Josh, why that Beach King crossed the runway and went over to the armory over there. Was waiting on our ATR to come around. It probably will here in about 2.5 seconds. As soon as I turn the camera, it usually does. But we do have the A220-100 headed back to Boston. Should be a nice departure for them. Usually is. Just in time. So I did see a CRJ head out to the end of the runway. Our fire truck returning back to base here. The other one headed up the hill to return. If you guys saw it a moment ago, we had a couple of fire trucks head up. There goes the other one. Now we're just waiting on that ambulance to make their way back out of here. So that is Delta 2393 headed back to Boston, Mass. That A220-100. Looks like we got a little bit of a slowdown here. What time is it? We should have the pushback of Iceland here in about 15 minutes. Let's check on Air Canada. Where are you at? Air Canada, 1068 from Vancouver, still an hour away. So I think that's going to work out perfect. I know it's going to be dark. Obviously, nothing we can do about that, but it will be our first Air Canada MAX sighting. So I'm pretty excited about that. Oh, from Fort Bragg. Thank you, Joshua. Southwest from Chicago Midway's out there with Air Canada. That's another MAX 8. Again, we got a couple of minutes here before our next arrival. Looks like about 10 or 15 minutes. So Iceland might be on the way out here shortly. Typically around 8:30 they push. Do have something that's not on flight radar on final. Something super small. Looks like one of our flight schools. See how our student pilot here gets along. Somebody's getting ready to push back, as you guys can hear the bells Looks like that PSA might be ready to go again already. I feel like that just landed. Definitely one of the flight schools over there. One of their planes. Ops sitting over here. I wonder if they're watching the show. Well, I do have somebody in ops here at the airport that does watch the show. This would be interesting if they were sitting there watching the show. What's up, RDU ops? Good evening to you guys. They're fueling. They are fueling that Apache. Definitely was a very smooth landing for our student pilot there. So again, we got a few minutes. About 15 minutes. So Miss Ramona, we've got a retro on final. Coming in from Philadelphia, this is going to be American Airlines 2703. It's going to be a 737-800. And it's going to be Reno Air Retro livery. I think the last time we saw this one here on the show was back in Charlotte. Yeah, Lee, it is. He's over there on the general ramp. I don't know why, but I figure maybe he'll fuel and hop back over. I don't know. I honestly don't know. So if you guys are into the American Airlines retro liveries, we've got Reno Air in just 14 minutes. Again, that one's coming from Philadelphia. And I wonder if that Reno retro will stay overnight. I wonder if they'll pull that over to the hard stand by the road over there. Be interesting if they do. I'm sure we won't know before we leave. Yeah, I think it's been pretty close to a year since we saw the Reno Air retro livery. So that'll be nice. 2 retros tonight with that United. Now this one. Finally, the ambulance making their way out of the airport. It's been a really, really long time since I've seen that. And we do have PSA, that CRJ 700, about ready for departure here. Beacons on, ready to push. Liberty University. Gotta adjust our white balance there. Everything looking a little bluer on the camera tonight. So we enter blue hour here. Looks like we might have Reno here with a little bit of daylight left. Looks like it's racing that last little bit of sunlight or evening light. So it's good that we're going to have that Air Canada flying either way. Whether it's early or not, I'm excited for it. Got another MAX 9 coming in here in a little bit. Another 20 minutes or so from United. Got American Airlines 979 coming in from Dallas Fort Worth. Another 15 minutes or so. But we're looking at Reno Air. Another 8 minutes. That 8 minutes will go by quickly. As many of you guys know, if you've been with the channel for a long time, you know 8 o'clock is usually the slowest time in the afternoons or evenings here for departures and arrivals. It'll pick right back up here shortly. I'd like to set that as our thumbnail, but I feel like it's going to be too dark to set the Air Canada MAX as our thumbnail. Maybe we can lighten it up for a minute and see if we can't get it. Thank you, Molly. 136 likes. Make sure if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please do so. Joshua, we did. So the first, from what I saw today, the first flight for WestJet will be June 9th. That's a Monday, and that's going to be, somebody said 5 p.m. I may or may not make a special appearance that Monday. We'll see what happens. I am excited to see WestJet. I won't be here for the inaugural, you know, the water cannon salute probably. Still be at work for that, but CRJ lifting off early and straight up. So a nice departure for this CRJ. PSA ready to go. Are they done fueling our Apache over there? Not quite. Hello, Jill. Good evening. Happy birthday to you tomorrow. And happy birthday to Daniel. Daniel saying it was his birthday earlier today. Thank you for the info, Kyle. I was wondering why it was over there on the General Ave side of the airport there. Still working on it, fueling that. I wonder if our C-130 landed. Let's zoom out here on flight radar and see. Has not yet. He's doing all kind. I think he's finally landing there in ILM, possibly. That C-130 from earlier. So that CRJ with that great climb out is Endeavour 5198, headed to Washington, D.C. via Ronald Reagan, same place this PSA is headed. So PSA headed to DC as well. it's in Myrtle Beach. See, I don't have it pulled up as a map. I have it pulled up as the satellite view. I don't typically do the map view on Flight Radar. So very interesting, that one there in Myrtle Beach. Did quite a few loops out of the ocean. Gotta check on our battery here, make sure we're good to go. Using that same battery we used last week. Got plenty of power this week, so I don't know what the deal was last week. As you guys know, we ended a little bit early. Terminal 2, Gate C3. So that means it'll be over on the front side. Be on the side we can't see, unfortunately. I was really hoping though that it would go right here to C22. Yeah, rain all day. Tomorrow I heard the same thing for tomorrow, after all day tomorrow, which is alright. I'm okay with that. Got one, this one here, not on Flight Radar. Probably another student pilot. Thank you, Greg. Greg gifting 1 Carolina Aviation membership. Thank you so much, Greg. Somali, I don't know yet where we're going to be on the 4th of July, whether or not we'll be here or somewhere else. I haven't discussed that with the boss yet, so we'll see where we decide to go on the 4th of July this year. Last year we were here. I wouldn't mind being here on Friday, 4th of July too. Again this year, due to the fact that I can give you guys the fireworks show from Briar Creek. So if you guys are unable to make it to any fireworks, we can always watch them here. That Friday evening. I'm off all day Friday, 4th of July. I also, so that's a 3-day weekend for me, so I'm really excited about that. We don't get too many 3-day weekends. I could stream all 3 days if I wanted to. Yeah, Jill, that's what we did last year. A bunch of us came up here, and a bunch of people that weren't even associated with the show or anything came up here to watch the fireworks over there at Briar Creek. It was a nice show. It got rained out. We ended the show, stuffed the equipment in the car, and then about 10-15 minutes after that, they finished the show. PSA gonna lift off really, really early. Must be very, very light. It's CRJ 701. Headed back to Washington, D.C. We wanted to be in Charlotte last year. Was that for 4th of July or New Year's? I don't remember. I think it was for New Year's we wanted to be in Charlotte. But I didn't want to drive home that night after the fireworks in Charlotte. So we decided not to stay all day. Alright, so this should be Reno Air, our Reno Retro livery from Philadelphia. Thank you, Josh. Piper landing there. I've also been in Washington, D.C. on the 4th of July. That was the year, that was right before we started doing the shows. That was when we had the last Canada fires. That's when all of New York City turned orange. The smoke was so bad. I had a couple of pilots wanted pictures from that weekend from D.C. and well, they didn't quite. I still sent them, but they didn't turn out very good because of the smoke there in D.C. that year. There you go, the Reno Air Retro from Philadelphia. Almost as old as Greg. Madman. Alright, if you guys are just joining us, we do have that MAX 8 from Air Canada a little later, here in about an hour or so. So we're definitely going to stay for that. The MD-11 departure is at 9:15. So that's something we like to do here on Wednesdays. If you're new to the channel, hang out until the MD-11 departure. Our next arrival is going to be that American Airlines 979 coming in from Dallas, Fort Worth. 2 hours and 12 minutes of flight time for that one. Let's see, what time is it? 8:36. Iceland should be pushing back here any time now. We've got a 737 MAX 9 coming in from Newark, New Jersey for United Airlines. So hopefully now the slow time is over. Delta 1518 coming in from Atlanta. That's another 15 minutes or so. It's going to get really, really busy here before the end of the night, as it usually does. It's still going to be slow through the 8 o'clock hour. Nothing we can do about that. That is always how it works here for some reason. 8 o'clock is the worst time. Yeah, he'd be up for it too, probably. Hey, there we go, Southwest. We haven't seen them in a few minutes. Southwest on the way out. Nick the Nikon doesn't want to play nice right now. Come on, my dude. You got about an hour left in your shift tonight. Calm down. Stay focused. Yeah, that was really bad back in 2023. I know from the wildfires right now in Canada, we've been getting some of that smoke here. I think I mentioned it on Sunday. The sun was very, very orange, very unique looking. Part of it could have been that. It could have been the Saharan dust. I don't know how much of the Saharan dust made it up here. I know Florida was covered on Saturday. Yeah, it seemed like I had a lot of trips there in 2023 as well. 2024 was an absolute disaster for going anywhere other than when we went to Disney in October. Tried to give you guys those DC shows. Ended up with COVID. Stupidly. Because of somebody else. Alright, so Southwest 1543, that's the one we're looking at right here. This is a 737-8. This is headed to Music City, Tennessee. Headed out to Nashville. Looks like we're going to have our United next. No, there's somebody in front of United here. I don't know what that is. Got another one here that's not on flight radar either that they're waiting on, Southwest. Waiting on some general aviation stuff. So I got to apologize about Sunday. Miss Ramona knows. So we ended the show because I was afraid we were going to lose some equipment in the rain. The rain, Ramona saw and Molly saw all the rain off to the west of the airport. We thought that was coming. As soon as I packed up and got situated, it stopped raining. So Miss Ramona and I hung out and watched the 777s depart. The Dreamliner and the 777. We also caught Maryland 1. So unfortunately, the rain really messed us up. Unfortunately. You know what, Matt, man? I'm not a huge fan of Universal. I did Universal one time, and I don't know. It's alright. It's fun. I'm just not a big... I'm not big on the roller coasters and stuff like that. I also got sick at Universal, so I had to leave early. Which is stupid, too, but... So a friend of mine that went with us to Disney, him and I went home. By the time I got home, I had a fever of 102. Slept it off. I think it was like 4 in the afternoon. I slept till 6 the next morning. Slept it off. It was fine. But I do watch, so Batman, I do watch the Disney live streamers and stuff, and I'll watch when they go to Universal. Universal has a lot of rules and regulations on what you can do in the park as far as filming and recording. Not that we did any of that while we were down there, obviously. Some people were asking me to do a live stream from Disney, but we're an aviation channel, so I didn't do any of that stuff while we were down there. Now, if you remember, we did do the live in the terminal as I flew out of here. We didn't do one in Orlando, but we did do the one here. Iceland, beacons on. Again, this is United from Newark. United 2192. Another 737 MAX 9. And we got a MAX 9 pushing back now with Iceland. Trail Stalker, what's up? Orlando was actually really easy, in my opinion. We were trying to find the restaurants and stuff, and that was the only part that was confusing. So if you've ever been to Orlando International, it's like the four legs. They got 4 different terminal buildings, and then they've got the one in the center. So me and Miss Carolina were looking for places to eat and stuff like that. And they're like, "Yeah, you got to go to the center building." I'm like, "All right." But there are restaurants out in the terminals, okay? So we made it back to the center because we were waiting for family for 2-3 hours to come pick us up from the airport. And we finally found all that, and it's like being in the mall. So it was really nice. They have a Universal store, they've got a Disney store, they've got all kinds of stores in there. So this is a MAX 9. You know, Joshua, if we get to 10,000 subscribers before 2026, there's a good possibility I may try to go to Amsterdam. I am trying to get my passports right now, in fact, here very, very soon. So don't know that I'll travel out of the country this year. I want to try, but I don't know that I will. But I would absolutely love to go to Amsterdam. If I'm not mistaken, that's where the McDonald's is, isn't it? That's the Amsterdam airport, right? They got that McDonald's that you can sit outside and watch airplanes. What if that McDonald's would allow me to set up a stream? So if you guys are just joining us, we do have our first inaugural flight from Air Canada from Vancouver tonight, landing in less than an hour. We do have Iceland back to Reykjavik here on your screen now, 737 at MAX 9. I don't know that our equipment would survive in Dubai. But I feel like we need to get to 10,000 before we talk about any big travels, even around the country. It's expensive to travel. You guys know this, and as many of you guys know, we've talked about this here on the show before. We don't. Any of these streams that we do, and I've explained this to Miss Ramona, any of these streams or shows that we do, we don't make money off of. If it's not for gifted memberships, super chats, stuff like that, we really don't make any money here on YouTube. So that's why I say we need to get to 10,000 before we can think about traveling any length of distance. Most of the time when we travel, that comes out of my own pocket. Or it did. The length of time that we traveled before, other than our last 2 Charlotte shows, those came out of pocket and not out of the show. So I need to figure out how to get some mileage and stuff and some hotel points as well. Once we get established in traveling, it'll be a whole lot easier. Alright, so Iceland on the move back to Reykjavik. We do have Delta 1518 about to touch down, another 737-9 GP. This one coming from Atlanta, Georgia. I don't think I've got any co-workers on board this one tonight. Don't think anybody went to school in Atlanta this week. Speaking of which, I got a bunch of tests done. So I should be eligible to go to Atlanta anytime now. Toronto would be absolutely fantastic. There's Delta 1518 from Atlanta. Yeah, so hopefully, I keep looking at my calendars and this, that, and the other, trying to figure out what we can do this year. Hey, all right, so this is going to be interesting. Are we about to have 3 Air Canadas on the ground? Or will the E175 from Toronto push back? Because I'm looking here, I clicked on Air Canada. We do have another Jazz 673 coming in from Montreal. That one's arriving here in 24 minutes. Loads of planes in between that one and that now. Air Canada 1068 in that 737 MAX 8 from Vancouver. That first flight, 35 minutes away. Hot on the heels of a Southwest from Chicago. Looks like our next arrival though might be Breeze. Moxie 541 coming in from Los Angeles. 4 hours and 21 minutes of flight time for that A220-300. So that one coming from Los Angeles. You know, Joshua, I've actually thought about that. Maybe not Dubai, but like London. You know, when we get bigger, hop on that British Airways A380 or the Lufthansa A380 and head over to Europe that way. Those flights are really, really expensive. I was looking at them a few weeks back. So that would be an interesting way to do it. So you guys saw Iceland. Where'd they go? They're hiding behind the trees out there. Iceland will be our next departure. Got quite a few European viewers, so I would definitely enjoy heading over there and doing a show for sure. I love catching the Emirates when I go up to Dallas. It's hard to do on a show though. It's too early. It's like 8:30, and then after the Emirates, there isn't anything going on after Emirates. You got, well, I guess there is. You got Japan Airlines, Onapon, Korean, I think. They all land pretty early in the morning there in Dallas. All right, Iceland back to Reykjavik on this 737 MAX 9. Jill, I would love to go to Germany. I really want to go to France too. Parts of Italy. Amsterdam's another one of those cities on my list. The city of Prague, that's another one I want to go visit. They're in the Czech Republic. I feel like Prague is really, really beautiful. There wasn't anybody else out there. Alright, so we got a couple minutes here for Moxie 541 coming in from Los Angeles. Another 7 minutes or so. Again, I'm anxious to know if Air Canada is going to move or not. Or will we possibly have all three of them leaving here in a minute? I know we now have a flight to Punta Cana via Avelo Airlines, so that would be another nice one. So there you go. Not a whole lot happening back here in the alleyway. Again, less than 30 minutes for our MD-11 departure. Gonna head back to Worldport. 30 minutes or so for the Air Canada, but we've got quite a few arrivals. They're starting to line up out there, about 6 deep, before the Air Canada arrival. Something very, very loud departing over here beside me. It's already gone now. You know, I still have my Biscoffs. I had one when I got here this morning, or this afternoon. Another thank you to Miss Ramona gifting us the Biscoffs on Sunday. Huge thank you to her for coming and hanging out with us, of course. As did Molly and Zoe. So thank you for you guys coming and hanging out. Vincent as well. So you can see we got one American Eagle just chilling over here. This is an awfully slow Wednesday evening. I think it was really slow last Wednesday too, but yo, Pip, you are just in time. We're waiting on the MD-11 as well as the inaugural Air Canada flight from Vancouver, coming now in 30 minutes. But about 6 or 7 in between that one. So now it is below 30 minutes, about 28. It says 28 minutes for that MAX 8. Yeah, sadly I don't have any movement over here to show you guys. Nothing. Nobody's moving. I know it's kind of boring when we have moments like this where there's not a whole lot happening for a little bit, but such is life here. Let's see if our Apache's still over there. I think we'll still be able to see it in the dark. I didn't hear it leave. I don't know. I can't see it. Seeing at night, you can't see them things. There's really not a whole lot happening over on the General Ave side either. But again, we got Moxie, Breeze Airways from Los Angeles, followed by about 6 others, 5 or 6 more. So it's going to get busy once again, starting with the 9 o'clock hour. Is that Moxie there flying behind the tower? Hey, speaking of the MD-11, guess who's up on flight radar? To the left of the yellow runway line. Yeah, I can't see that over there. It's over there somewhere. You guys can probably see it better than I can. I'm looking at a small screen. So the MD-11's up on flight radar already. Moxie from Los Angeles on final. They're just behind the tower there. You can see a little bit of it. So Moxie going to come in at 23 right tonight. Matt, man, that would be awesome, a water cannon salute for the Air Canada, but unfortunately us already having Air Canada, that won't happen. Speaking of Air Canada, there is another one from Montreal. Now 15 minutes out. So, if the one from Toronto doesn't leave before Montreal and Vancouver, that'll be a lot of Air Canada on the ground here at RDU. Istanbul would be fantastic too, I think. That's another pretty city. So there's Moxie 541 from Los Angeles. Looks like they're turning all the lights off there. Somebody over there making a whole lot of noise. I think I see the culprit. That one there. Looks like another Beach King Air, possibly. our next arrival is going to be Republic Airways, I believe. It's an American. Republic Airways 4530 from Washington, D.C., coming in from Ronald Reagan. 39 minutes of flight time for the E175LR. I see our MD-11 already moving about. They've been running that one for a minute. That's why I was like, it's really noisy. I was trying to figure out where that was at. Nice touchdown there for Republic. Next arrival is going to be Southwest. Southwest 102 coming in from Music City on a Max 9. There's our Duke Lifeline flying over. They're always right over my head. Hard to catch them. You guys should be able to hear it just fine. Again, our MD-11 sitting out there. You can see beacons on. She's ready to go. I have a feeling that E175 is going to mess up our turn it up moment. But enjoy this MD-11 departure, you guys. MD-11 departure never, ever gets old. Next arrival is going to be Moxie 745 coming in from Portland. 1 hour and 42 minutes of flight time for this. Another A220-300. That one turning on final. As you can hear, our American Eagle down here. Oh look, a blueberry. It's just a strawberry. I can't do it. I can't quite get my voice to go that high pitched. Scott, what's up? Good evening, good sir. Hope you're doing well. Alright, so the final plane of tonight's going to be that Air Canada from Vancouver. Now arriving in just 20 minutes. Speaking of Air Canada, Jazz Aviation 673 from Montreal. Now arriving in 1 minute. Another E175 for them. We already have the Toronto one on the ground. You know who we haven't seen tonight? We haven't seen any JetBlue. I was just thinking about that. You know, Matt, man, I think I do. I think I like the 300s. You know, kind of like I prefer the A350 1000 over the 900. I prefer the 777-300 over the 2. I like the bigger ones, the longer ones. I prefer the 737 MAX 8s, 9s over the 700s. It's just a thing for me. But I love the A220. You guys have been with me long enough to know that the A220 is one of my favorites, whether it's the 100 or the 300. Absolutely love the A220s. I want to get my butt on one of these A220s one of these days. There we go, Air Canada from Montreal. Dang, it got really windy all of a sudden. Not extremely windy, but windy enough. Where did this wind come from? Looks like we got another Delta after the old Air Canada here. Dang, I really wish the Vancouver flight was coming in during the day. I love the Mask 8s from Air Canada. You know, Matt, man, I don't know. No, I think JetBlue has some of the 100s, right? Because I don't think they could put a 300 back here in the alleyway. I could be wrong. But I believe JetBlue has some 100s. Somebody in the chat will find out here in a minute who has the 100s. But I definitely know Delta does, so they fly both variants here. Both the 100 and the 300, they both come from Boston. The 300 comes earlier in the day, and then we get the 100 later in the evening. Dang, that wind really picked up. It feels really, really good out here tonight. Almost perfect. All right, our next arrival is going to be Delta 817. Speaking of A220-300s, Delta 1817 coming in from Boston. Another A220-300. So usually mid-afternoon, right when we start the show, they do the 100. And then I think they do the 300 twice a day. Air Canada is going to go to that corner gate, the one that I was hoping the Mask 8 was going to go to. But, looks like they're going to get the E175 instead. Thank you, Albug. So JetBlue is the 300s. I love the Air Canada logo at night. I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but that Air Canada logo at night just looks neon. On camera. Off camera, it looks... I don't know how to describe what it looks like off camera. It's a lot dimmer at night, obviously. And it just looks like the maple leaf is just glowing at night. Here it's a lot more vibrant on the camera, obviously. But when you're looking at it with the naked eye, it looks like it's just glowing. It's crazy cool looking at night. Thank you, Greg. 155 likes. At least we made it to 150 tonight. So thank you guys oh so much for that. Not done yet. Waiting on Air Canada from Vancouver. First time seeing that Max, if you guys are just joining us. And arriving in about 20 minutes. There we go, Delta. So that's 3 A220s on the ground. All 300s. And again, like I said, we haven't seen any JetBlue tonight. Fire truck. Something small. David, thank you for joining economy class. Greatly appreciate that. So thank you, David. David joining economy class here tonight. I'll give you guys, of course, the final numbers of our subscriber count. We started the night with 5,056. Last I checked, we were at about 63. That fire truck's going to pop through there in just a moment. If he still has his lights on when he pops through there. Extremely loud exec jet. All right, here we go. Southwest from Chicago. Midway is going to be our next arrival. That's going to be that Max 8 Southwest 3724. arriving in 3 minutes, followed by Air Canada 1068, the first arrival from Vancouver to RDU. So a special evening here on the show. Then we got Southwest 4261 coming in from Phoenix, Arizona, arriving in 8 minutes. So more than likely we'll see that arrival. Followed by Southwest 2058 coming in from Orlando. So there's a possibility we'll see that one as well. Looks like we got a CRJ or something on the move. Delta CRJ. Is this our diversion from Alabama? You know this is a special occasion when John Southwell's still awake, guys. I just thought about that. You guys know John Southwell's out of here by 8 o'clock, ready for bed. So you know tonight's a special evening when John Southwell is still here past 8 o'clock. Thank you, John Southwell, for staying late. Thank you, Molly. Delta heading to LaGuardia. Southwest turned on final. Lynn is still awake too. Dang. Very, 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 very early for Lynn in the UK. So thank you so much, Lynn. There's Southwest from Chicago Midway. That Air Canada should be turning on final soon. Thank you guys, 157 likes. Make sure you guys, hopefully we can get to 160 before Air Canada touches down again. That is in 2 minutes. That's only 3 likes. Can we get to 160? 3 more likes in 2 minutes? I'm sure we can. Be even better if we could make it to 170 before Air Canada's touchdown. Dude, your shift is almost over. Calm down. Focus. That's your main job right now. Focus. Thank you. Your night is almost over. Thank you, Molly. 160 likes. Air Canada about a minute away. Can we hit 170? Who hasn't smashed that like button? I'd say more like 165. Probably. Before Air Canada. So again, this one coming up from Chicago Midway. Alright, boys boys and girls. There she is, our MAX 8 from Vancouver. 4 hours and 37 minutes of flight time for this 737 MAX 8. This one here will be the last arrival of the night. So if you guys joined us after 9:15, you guys missed the MD-11 departure. That one already happening tonight. Unless we have another UPS or FedEx pop up on flight radar, chances are this one will be our last arrival of the evening. This one here is special. Got both of those Southwest flights getting ready to turn on finally. Exactly, Matt, man. I hope they have the ident light on. Drives me nuts when they fly in here. The airlines fly without their ident light on. Thereabouts, David, you did. You missed the MD-11 departure. It was a fantastic departure. That was absolutely awesome. Sorry, Matt, man, it doesn't look like they've got the light on. Unfortunately. I think Matt, man, jinxed us. There she is, our first Vancouver flight touching down. Oh no, maybe it is on. It's just messed up. So David, we had a lot of action here in the first 30 minutes of tonight's show. Had a C-130. Both of our 777s back to Europe, departing back to back. Both of those. All three of those in the first half hour of the show. We had United's Continental livery. We have and still have Reno Air special livery, that American Airlines. That is still on the ground here over at Terminal 2. I want to see where Air Canada is going to go here. It's a good opportunity, or a good chance that it might go to the center. Somebody said that it was going to go to C3. Ops is crawling around over there, going slow. All right, and by the way, so now we have 3 major cities from Canada on the ground. Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. All 3, 2 E175s and the 1 MAX 9, or MAX 8, excuse me. That's just a regular American right there. Where are you gonna go? I can't see Air Canada anymore. And it's no longer on flight radar for me to know where it went. Yeah, Calgary will be our next major Canadian arrival. Southwest about to touch down. Let's go for that one. I'm trying to wait and see where Air Canada is going to go. See if we can't get another good look at it here before we head out of here, but I believe it's already at the gate. Got one last Southwest arrival. That one there coming in from Phoenix, Arizona. That was Southwest 4261. That one coming in on a max 8. The next one coming in is Southwest 2058 coming in from Orlando, Florida. That one's just a regular old 737-700, the one there in the center of the screen. I really was hoping it would come to like where Iceland was tonight. And that Duke helicopter coming in. We got time here. I believe this is our Duke Lifelight. Duke Life Flight gonna go over there and get some fuel. We're gonna backtrack a little bit here. We're gonna go to our last official arrival now that Air Canada has finally made it to its gate. Not another opportunity to see that MAX 8 from Air Canada. So we'll end on the Southwest 737-700 tonight. Give Avello some spotlight here. We don't see too much of Avello. This one's been sitting here the entire show. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the contributions today. And as always, and of course, thank you guys for watching the show. Fantastic show tonight. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an update because I know Molly and a couple others like to know where we are on subscriber count. So we made it to 64, we're 2 shy from 10. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do. We're 2 away from 10 today. I'm sure we'll make that up in the next couple of days. So thank you guys. I want to wish you guys all a wonderful rest of the week. We'll be back on Sunday, should be right here, same channel, same time, probably around 1 p.m. on Sunday if I don't choose to start earlier. So thank you guys. Thank you channel moderators, channel members. You guys are fantastic as always. Congratulations to the 7 or 8 of you guys that were gifted memberships tonight. So we will see you guys again very soon. Good night, everybody. Subscriber there before we end, so thank you guys.